Hi, I'm Leslie Goodell. Join Randy Sparagi and me for Press Box tonight at 6:30. We'll have the latest from the Magic Rockets Game 4 in Houston, and who will train Iron Mike Tyson for his first fight. We'll take a look at the possibilities tonight on Prime Sports.
From Country Club Lanes in Baltimore, Maryland, Prime proudly presents the Mrs. T's Pierogies Open of the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge. And welcome to the Country Club Lanes here in the Baltimore area. We're getting closer and closer to the Grand Championship. Hello again, everybody. Jay Randolph along with Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Earl, we're looking forward to this action today. It's been very interesting getting to the qualifying. We have our top 3 teams. Number 1 is Ebonite.
Well, Ebonite's number 1, but we have 15 very fine bowlers in the finals. It'll be really hard, very difficult to single out each individual and say, well, this guy might be a little bit tougher in a given situation than that one. They're all that good. But Ebonite has been the team, and this is team competition at its best. They've dominated the field through the qualifying rounds. They dominated it in the match play. They still have to win that one more match to go to Reno. Let's see if they can do it this afternoon, Jay.
All right, and in our first match, the number 2 qualifier, Columbia Cootasees, and they'll be going up against Silver Dollar Classics. We'll be back right after these messages.
Brought to you by the American Bowling Congress and the Women's International Bowling Congress, providing championship service to sanctioned leagues across the United States. Make sure your league is sanctioned by the national governing bodies. By Lynn's Shoes. For the performance approach, it's American-made Lynn's Shoes, the choice of bowlers worldwide. By Contour Power Grips, the pioneers of the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips. You should too. By Bud Light, offering the $25,000 Perfect Game Challenge. By the National Bowling Stadium in Reno, Nevada, bringing you the lucky roll of the match. And by Brunswick. Bowling is sold on Brunswick worldwide.
Brad Angelo along with Chris Soule shaking hands as we're about to get underway here. Chris Soule, 24 years old, from the '92 collegiate team champion for William Patterson College, left-hander.
Didn't waste any time kind of destroying that full rack there. Just sawed the 5-pin right in half. This is, as I mentioned in the Open, Jay, 15 of maybe the most talented players we've had the opportunity to have on it all at one time.
Brad Angelo is 25 years old. Has several local association titles in Western New York. Far.
Just the 3-9. Not really that tough to spare because there's plenty of hook on the outside of the lane. He's going to get it back without any problem. And speaking of the lane condition, it's about 31 feet of oil, synthetic surface we're bowling on, synthetic pin decks, and of course a synthetic approach. And this is a Brunswick System 2000 is the name of this type of lane surface, and it's like bowling on a tabletop. So you get a very smooth reaction, but the oil tends to move quite readily. So if it moves, it can change the condition of the lanes quite quickly. So the bowlers have to adjust quicker than they would on a wooden lane.
Picked it up nicely.
Brand new Brunswick pin, so you got to hit them to get them, Jay.
Yes, indeed. This is Chris Hayden. Hayden's 24 years old, a pro shop operator. This team was their first 4 matches. Still were able to qualify in the number 2 slot. Columbia Cootasee is from Guindon, New York.
Shot.
And they're one of the few teams you'll see that's dominated by left-handers. They have 3 very good left-handed players on this team. Most of the time, if you have a lefty, they'll have 1. I might say they're just to kind of balance things out. They'll get 1 lefty in there in case there's a good shot on the left side. This team has 3, and the lane condition was good on both sides this week. The scores were pretty high. Ebonite, of course, our tournament leader, destroyed everybody in the field. They just ran away with it. They were 8-1 in match play, and we'll see them.
This is Mark McLean, a Bowling Publications editor, 35 years of age. Has a PBA regional title to his credit. And a big smile.
Well, that's twice they've had the ball kind of get away from him, you might say. He got a real big break there. He got the pin action off the wall, much like a left-hander might.
The starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. So Hayden, Mack, Allen, and Meow. A little high there.
Tough spare here, 3, 6, 9, 10, and every time you add a pin to the equation, it's just that many more times more difficult. The idea here would be cross lane, get the ball between the 3 and the 6. The ball should take out the 9. Of course, the 6 pin will take out the 10.
Tim Mack, 23, is a graduate student at Penn State. Played defensive back for Penn State. Nittany Lions. Is put together pretty well, as you can tell.
Great cover there. Difficult spare. He did it the hard way. Went right at him, nice and hard and straight. He's had his problems in the past, as we talked about in Buffalo when he started missing some of the easier spares later in the match.
Contour Power Grips, pioneers of the finger grip industry, giving you the starting lineup there for Silver Dollar Classic.
You know, I was talking to Mack before we went on the air, and he said that, watch me today. He said, Earl, I'm not going to miss any spares. It says if I do, I'm going to point right at you and say, you can say anything you want about me.
Dave Guindon has it on the way, and Guindon has a problem. He has left the 3, 4, 6, 7, 10.
Good. Hey, that was good, Jay. You came right out with that one. I like that. That was excellent.
I get lucky once in a while.
Very good. All right. The idea here is to go cross lane, get the ball between the 3 and the 6. And let that go right on down the line. And, of course, the 3 pin, you want to go all the way across, take out the 4, 7. Not really as difficult as it looks. Oh, well, that's trouble.
Yeah, it appeared like he slipped a little there, Earl. Just never got it where he wanted it.
And you're probably right, Jay. You could hear him at the foul line saying, it's got away from him a little bit.
We look now at Patrick Allen, 24 years of age. Was a member of Team Columbia, which finished second in the '93 Grand Championship.
Patrick, as young as he is, and of course his whole team is very young. The oldest player in the team, 26 years old, and they probably average close to 24, 25 right in that area. Patrick, one of the finer left-handers in the East Coast, and maybe even in the country as an amateur player. Actually finished second in the ABC Masters Championships not too long ago, back in 1993. And we do have a Masters champion in the field today. Doug Kent won the 1991 Masters Championship. So got a lot of very fine players.
Well, you said at the top, this is a talented group. Kent. 5 second-place finishes on the PBA Tour. These days he'll break through for everything.
He's got the talent. There's no question. The ability is there. Just whether or not he can get everything together all at the right time. The talent level on the PBA Tour is just phenomenal. So everything has to be right to win out there. You have to have your physical and your mental game together all at once.
There's is our old friend Chuck Pisano, ABC Hall of Famer, writer, great friend. You and I had the privilege of working with him for many years on the fall tour, working for NBC.
Hang on. Chuck is a great guy, and he's done a lot for the sport. He's a great writer. He's in the Hall of Fames all over the place, and you can see, looking at him, he's been sitting in that spot for quite a while. He's been here all day and all weekend watching the tournament. I'm sure he's going to go back up to his neighborhood and write about it. And
his son, of course, runs this center here. This is Chris Vial, credit accountant manager, 26 years of age. No problem with credit there. He got them all.
He got them all. Yep. No IOUs.
No, sir. He doesn't know a thing.
This is the guy that put it all together for him, Jay, Mike Ternisky. He's the captain of this group. He put this team together. These guys all bowl together up in their area of the country up there in New York, and they enjoy bowling tournaments together. They do not bowl in the same team in the league, but they do bowl a lot of tournaments.
And the strike for Ternisky. We'll return with more of the Brunswick Team Bowling Challenge from Country Club Lanes in Baltimore right after this. Seoul, a league average of 230.
Got a break. Only the 2, the 4, and the 7. It's amazing what these young players can average nowadays, Jay, and the lane conditions being what they are, the bowling balls, the equipment that's available. Not only does it make it more conducive to higher scores with the equipment and the lane surfaces, but these guys are good athletes.
I was going to ask you, how many years did you average 230?
Never. That would be a good game for me, I'll tell you. These guys
amazing, isn't it? He's a little bit wide with that one.
You know, sometimes the bowlers will switch bowling balls for their spares, and sometimes when you're in an area such as we are here in the Baltimore area, where the temperature is in the high 80s, the humidity is close to that, they have problems getting out of the ball cleanly, so they'll miss an easy spare, and I think that's what happened there. He switched bowling balls and didn't get out of the thumb hole quite the way he wanted.
Here's Brad Angelo. Well, he got a break there, and touchdown.
That's right. That's what he signaled, didn't he?
Yeah.
One away. The crossover ball shot on the left-hander's side.
Chris Hayden is next. He was the 91 Andy Verapapa match play champion. His average, 234.
It's remarkable. They throw a lot of strikes. I guess that's possibly part of the reason they don't make very many spares. They don't get to practice them very often. Only the 9-pin on the light hit the wall shot. The right-handers are carrying that hit, crossing it over, but the lefty hit it there and he couldn't get it, Jay.
Columbia Kuta Seas finished second in Buffalo in March. They're trying to go all the way here today and get a trip to Reno for the Grand Championship. Silver Dollar Classic up by 12.
All right, we've been through the lineup once as we get a look at the high games of the week, Jay.
Ebonite, High Roller, and the Crofton Classics. Ed Schuler from Philadelphia on top in the high games.
And the High Roller team actually bowled our third 300 game in the system during the match play. That was fun to watch. There was a lot of excitement. The crowd was screaming.
Mark McLean has left the 10-pin. Over $25,000 in prize money with everything included here.
Speaking of 25, isn't that what you get for a 300 game on
yes,
the
sir.
Telecast?
$25,000 Bud Light Perfect Game Challenge. High Series went to Bill Roll, Hamilton, Ontario. Chris Barnes. You'll see Chris, of course, a little later on. Barnes out of Wichita.
Well, their team just really dominated. Of course, Bill Rowe, he's on that Ebonite team. Chris Barnes, people like Bob Goyke, who was a 10-year average leader in the American Bowling Congress for a number of years. just very talented team. It's going to be fun to watch that last match. It's going to be a lot of excitement.
Tim Mack, and he came up short. Just couldn't get it turned early enough down there.
Washout, the 1, 2, 4, 10. Idea here, of course, get the ball on the left side of the head pin. Head pin should take out the 10. The ball will take out the 4 and of course, the 2 pin. Let's see if he's really improved that spare shooting like he said he did, Jay. Hard and straight, just like that.
A little upset with himself. Here is the high Baker format game, 300 high roller, the third Baker 300 ever rolled in the team challenge history. Weber's St. Charles Lanes rolled one in the TV finals in '92. You remember at Hawthorne Lanes?
I sure do. Leroy Bornhop needed 3 in the 10th for that. I watched him get all 3 of them. Great shots.
Guindon comes through. The lead is 27 for Silver Dollar Classic.
Second time through, these guys should be getting pretty loose, getting lined up now. The television cameras aren't quite the distraction they might have been in their first chance to help their team. Remember, this is the Baker system. You bowl 2 games, total pins, wins the match. You advance to bowl the Ebonite team if they really want to bowl those guys. Not sure anybody does.
Afraid they're going to have to. Patrick Allen. And a strike for Patrick.
Very quickly, the format here is we had 76 teams from, what, 12 states? Jay, how many? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. We had 12 states represented, 76 teams.
Those 76 teams bowled 6 games of qualifying. Top 10 teams, based on total pinfall, advanced to the match play. They bowled 9 2-game Baker system matches. And with pinfall, carryover, and of course with bonus pins for winning games and matches, the top 3 advanced to where we have here today in our championship round.
Doug Kent leaves the 4-9.
Doug, one of the better spare shooters of our 15 bowlers today, and we expect him to give us a pretty good run. And spare shooting has not been easy crossing the house because the back ends are hooking a lot. By that I mean when they get down to about that last 10 feet of the lane, the ball wants to take off, and it's hard to judge how much it's going to move. Hard and straight, really close.
Well, a good try, just didn't get the job done.
Neither team really able to take control yet. And that 4-9, of course, a good shot by Doug Kent, former Masters champion, as I mentioned. And if he had struck there, of course, they would have had pretty large or substantial lead after the first game, depending, of course, on what happens here.
And this is a 2-game match. Here is Chris Bial.
And that's disaster. The 2-8-10, which almost impossible to pick up unless you can make the ball as a right-hander through a reverse hook on the left side of the 2-pin, knock it into the 10, the ball will take out the 8. And this is really a left-hander's spare to pick up, not a right-hander. So a right-hander, this is really tough. He'll probably throw it hard and try to bounce it out of the pit. Like that. Good try.
A lot of lift and lob. Boy, they can throw it hard.
Well, a chance for this team here to take something like a 35-pin lead if Mike can catch a double in the 10th frame here. The last thing he wants to do is open and get back that lead that they've been donated, you might say, by Columbia. Almost did, though. 3-6-10. None of these fares are easy. Like I mentioned before, every time you add a pin to the equation, it just compounds. It gets that much more difficult. Here, there are a lot more ways to miss this spare than there are to make it. The ideal thing, of course, to get the ball between the 3 and the 6. Cross lane.
Mike has 4 PBA regional titles to his credit. He's got a league average of 228. Down the line, yes, sir.
Well, every pin important. Even though this is a 2-game match, you want to get as many as you can, get a little cushion build up for that second game. The Columbia team bowled 154 their first game here in the Baker system match play. This, not match play, but total pins. this only means one thing. This is a very explosive team. They could likely come out in the next game with 5 or 6 strikes in a row. So that's why I'm saying you want to get as many counts. And that's not a good count.
A strike there would have given them a 25-pin lead. They're up now by 22. We'll return with more right after these messages. And he lets it go, and he gets the job done.
Well, you can see the emotion that it just continues to build as you go along in this 2-game total pin Baker system match, and this will continue to build and build, and you'll see the pressure build up. But you only have 2 chances to help your team each game, and you get one of your teammates strikes, you want to come up behind them and get that double, and sometimes the pressure is more than they can handle, and they just don't make the good shot. But these guys have been there, know how to play the game quite well. We can expect good things out of them. Again, this is 2 games total pins, and we do switch lanes. We're bowling 37 and 38 here at Country Club Lanes. And after the first game, the teams switch lanes, and if they're paying attention, they can learn a lot by watching the opposing team, how they lined up off that lane, and if they had problems, where they had problems. And these guys have all been around enough to know how to do that, so we expect better scores the second game.
And, of course, there's the opportunity to compete in this event with the information that is being given and the thoughts that each team member might have. It all comes into the mix.
That's a good point, Jake, because they do help each other. They line up off each other. What they try to do is get the player on top. The guy bowling first and second, somewhere in that area, he's usually a good guy as far as hitting the pocket goes and can figure lanes out very quickly. And he'll help the rest of the team line up. So they'll watch him and see how he plays and ask him if he made a good shot. If he did, well, this lane's not hooking as much as we thought it would, or something of that nature. They'll make their adjustments based on his ball reaction.
That was Mark McLean. And he's talking to himself.
This game will make you do that. It's a chance for him to line up. He still has a pocket shot, you might say, to shoot the spare. He's going to try to keep the ball in the head pin. Get an idea of how the lane's reacting here. It's an idea that's going to turn over for him. If he gets it inside the target, if he gets it wide, it doesn't want to come back, and that can be tough.
Chris Hayden.
You know what could happen here, Jay? It's a very distinct possibility with 3 left-handers on this Columbia Cuda team. If things start to get tough on the left side, tough on the right-hand side, these 3 left-handers could carry Columbia right on through to the championship, because the left side, with only 3 or 4 players over there, isn't going to change as quickly or as drastically as the right side will. That one just got off his hand too quick, had no chance to get to the pocket. He left his hand, it was already hooking and rolling. Still fighting, still getting up there a little quick with the feet. Not quite comfortable yet, but he's running out of frames. 4-7, cross lane here. You see him going to a bowling ball that will not hook. Just throw it pretty straight and hard.
Guindon now. He won the '95 International Eliminator Championship.
That to me just personifies how strong that young man is. He got that ball out on the lane about 8 feet in the air. Still got plenty of revolutions and plenty of ball speed on it to make it hold the line and hit hard. And here's another look at it. You see that ball well out in front of him, and a tremendous revolution to bring it back from about the 8 board at about 45, 50 feet down the lane. And you can see what it did to the full rack there. Just destroyed that 5-pin. Here's a guy that's in shape. He takes care of himself, this guy.
Well, you play defensive back for Penn State. I'm sure you better. He strikes Tim Mack. We'll be back with more from Baltimore right after these messages. With a spare, Patrick Allen with the strike, and Silver Dollar Classic up by 14.
They better not rest. They better get aggressive, because here comes Columbia.
Problem there for Mike Triniski.
He's got it out there too far near the edge of the lane. Got it down the lane too far and too far near the edge. It never really made the turn soon enough. The ball was maybe a foot and a half from making the right break point, and it's too late. Tough spare, 2-4-10. So slide the 2-pin across the lane into the 10. Not this time. Give you an idea what the lane condition is like. This is 30 feet of oil. Double oil the heads. In other words, the first 15 feet they actually oil twice, and that helps the ball skid a little bit for you, get it down the lane. There are 16 feet of oil on the inside of the lane, tapered out to about 6 out around the 8 board. And it gives players a little bit of a swing area, but not a lot. In the first 15 feet of the lane, it's flatly oiled, so there's no help in that area. Don't need it there.
Well, he got it on the wrong side, but he picked up the strike. Look at the lift and loft on this shot.
Well, this is a guy that says, I'm not even going to worry about that first 15 because the ball isn't going to hit it anyway. You always think he sticks and loses it, but he doesn't. That's his normal style. And this ball just got away from him once it hit. Good pin action for him. Bad for the other team, of course.
Brad Angelo.
Big turnaround in this match already.
Yes, sir.
From 22 down.
Columbia up by 11.
Another 7-pin here. The lefties aren't leaving, but the right-handers are.
Angelo a little upset with himself.
Well, he's really upset, not with himself so much as he felt he threw that ball where he wanted to throw it. He's just really upset that he didn't carry the 7-pin. He knows that his team is in dire straits. They need to get something going. They're halfway through the second game of this 2-game total pin match. They don't get it going soon, and there's a major mistake.
Oh, boy.
We've talked about it, talked about it, and talked about it, Jay. You have to fill the frames, and the spares are how you do it. You make mistakes like that. And not only does it cost your team pins, very crucial pins at this point, as we look at that shot again, and it just, when it left his hand, was going left. He had no chance to stay on the lane. Not only do you cost your team pins, but you get them down mentally, and that's even worse.
Chris Soule.
Things are going Columbia's way. Now, that could have been just about anything. Anyway, he's only the 7-pin. Had the 7-8 for a little while. Columbia's got things going pretty good their way. Right now, this match has turned around dramatically, and most of it because Silver Dollar has made major mistakes on their spare shooting.
We'll be back. 21-pin lead for Columbia. About 140 directors from around the country involved with the ABC. High.
Oh my. And things are really falling apart for Silver Dollar. Doesn't seem like anything they do works out right. Columbia's got a few good breaks. They worked hard to get some of those breaks, obviously, but this is still not what Silver Dollar was hoping would happen. They started this second game with a 22-pin advantage, and now it's all gone, and they are building up a bigger deficit as time goes on. Making it easy for Columbia.
Chris Hayden.
You can almost see the look in their eyes. You get up now. Look, he looks very confident right now. He feels like things are going his team's way. You don't see any stress on that face. Nice and relaxed. Good arm swing. The head pin, and things are really going their way. I mean, there's no question about it. Another look at that shot. Ball got off his hand again a little early. He's had that happen a couple of times. Goes through real high Brooklyn. A Jersey squasher, we used to call it, as he went high on the head pin and just kind of pushed him over. Dave has been bowling quite well. This is the man we talked about that can really get something on. He's a big, strong guy. Gets it well out in front of him. 6-8 feet on the lane. It's a good camera angle. You see the ball get well down the lane. Oh, my.
Boy, that was a toughie.
Well, that's the one they really needed. Silver Dollar at this point, really looking for something to turn this match around. They're running out of frames. That was the shot that might have done it. You couldn't throw it any better than that, Jay. Just another look at that ball. It makes the turn into the pocket area. Looks really good. Doesn't look late. Doesn't look behind the head pin or anything. And there's that solid 10. Just one of the bad breaks in the sport. Sometimes you get the good ones. Sometimes you don't. Today is not Silver Dollars Day, and obviously Columbia's got everything the way they want it.
This is the 17th of 19 Open Division qualifiers leading up to the Grand Championship in Reno. July 16th through the 19th. National Bowling Stadium. The action will be hot and heavy. Tim Mack.
Tim's really taking some time here. See him talking to himself there, trying to get some positive thoughts. Look at it. Well, that's a clincher right there.
That's what he did when he intercepted the pass every once in a while.
I can see him with pads on coming after me. I don't want to be around.
He gets with the program, doesn't he?
He's a good kid too. Really a nice one. Here's another look at that last shot. And here, if you don't think there's emotion in team bowling, look at this. And there's 4 guys on his left jumping up and down.
Strike there from Doug Kent.
Looks like he just tried to open up the lane a little bit there. A little less ball speed, a little more room. Got the ball back. Too little too late, though, I'm afraid, Jay, at this point.
Yeah, Patrick Allen. They only need 1 mark in the last 2 frames for the victory.
Yeah, or a strike here. We're just,
yeah.
I would continue this string, give him 3 in a row, possibly 230 at that point, maybe even more if we could put it out. Look at this. Oh my, now he had a little bit of everything down there, didn't he? 6 to 10, 7 pin. Got some good pin action off the wall, kicked out the 6-10, leaving line at 7. Patrick doesn't miss very many 7 pins. One of the premier left-handed amateur bowlers in the country. Been very successful in some of the major events around the country that you have the opportunity to win big dollars in some of these amateur tournaments. Some of them as much as $250,000. Look at here.
Oh boy.
They're trying to keep it in there, and it's not over yet.
No, it is not over yet. He looks up at the scoreboard.
How many times have we seen how important it is to make those spares? Well, it's obvious what this young man has to do. He has to get 3 in a row right here.
Mike Triniski. That's going to be it. Columbia Cuda sees. They're going to get their shot. I mentioned they finished 2nd back in March in Buffalo.
Well, I think the key in this championship match is not going to be how good anybody bowls. It's just whether or not Ebonite can maintain that edge they have, that mental edge they have coming into this. I don't think it's too easy, even though they led by somewhere like 350 pins over the team in 2nd place. They can't come down here thinking this is going to be easy, because they'll end up finding out Columbia is going to give them all they can handle. Just finishing out here now.
No, it didn't work. Well, it's going to be Columbia Cuda C's going forward, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
From the Magic Rockets Game 4 in Houston, and who will train Iron Mike Tyson for his first fight? We'll take a look at the possibilities tonight on Prime Sports.
It's time to go around the bowling world. Brought to you by Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. More top players are switching to Turbo 2-in-1 Grips. Competition continues in Reno as the ABC Tournament Lanes host some of bowling's most exciting competitions. 608 of bowling's best players converged on the National Bowling Stadium recently for the 45th American Bowling Congress Bud Light Masters. In the televised finals, Bob Benoit claimed the first match with a close 195-187 victory over Larry Lobb. Ryan Schaefer bested Benoit in the quarterfinals 190-157. And then Schaefer faced the '89 Masters champion Mike Albee. Albee started out with a triple, and he never let up, winning it by 52 pins, 222-170. In the championship match, Albee went up against Mark Williams. Both players filled frames, with Williams posting the only open of the match. Picking up 7 spares, Albee held on to his early lead for a 200-187 victory. Albee earned $50,600 and became only the 5th person to win the Masters twice. Also taking place at the National Bowling Stadium, the Association of College Unions International Championships. 19-year-old Jennifer Swanson of Sacred Heart rolled a .299 final game to earn the women's title. 1994, Chuck Hall Star of Tomorrow Mike Mullen of St. John's University captured the men's individual title. ABC Hall of Famer Joe Norris was on hand to present the trophy, which is named in his honor. The bowling stadium also hosted the ABC Seniors Championships. Henry Upton claimed the title in the 70 and older category. Bill Burnett won in the age 65 to 69 category. Richard Legg earned the 60 to 64 title, and Gordy Bittner became the 55 to 59 champion. The Bowling Writers Association of America named Brunswick President and CEO Jack Reichert its 20th annual John O. Martino Award winner. Reichert has promoted bowling throughout his career, especially supporting the sport's quest for Olympic recognition. The ABC is celebrating its centennial this year. Here's Earl Anthony with a look back at the ABC Masters.
The ABC Masters began as a clinic and double elimination tournament on the ABC tournament lanes in St. Paul in 1951. 32 bowlers were invited to bowl 3-game matches in a double elimination format. Lee Juglard of Detroit won the event, defeating Joe Willman before 2,600 fans to earn $620. The following year, the tournament's name was changed to the Masters Invitational Elimination Tournament. The Masters is bowling's premier match play event. 480 of the nation's top professional and amateur players bowl 15 games of qualifying. The top 63 and the defending champion make the double elimination match play final. The field is then cut to the top 5 players who battle it out in the TV stepladder finals. With the sponsorship of Bud Light in 1986, the Masters became one of bowling's richest tournaments, offering a $235,000 prize fund. The list of Masters champions is a who's who of bowling, with 16 Hall of Famers claiming the title.
We'll return with the championship match in the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge. Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge brought to you in part by Mrs. T's Pierogies. It's pasta, it's potatoes, it's delicious. Well, here we go. It will be Ebonite qualifying number 1. Bob Goyke to start it off. Bob is 41 years old, bowling proprietor from Detroit.
Well, it's kind of interesting because they finished higher in the standings. They get to choose their starting lane. They decided to start the match, this 2-game total pins match, on lane 37. And by doing so, meaning that has been the more difficult of the 2 lanes, they must want to just get it out of the way. For me, I'd be going the other way. I'd want to start on 38 and try to build a lead and let them try to catch me. So it's kind of interesting how they make that determination.
And Chris Soule opens with a strike. Both these teams have a lot of confidence coming into this championship match.
And they're both pumped. And, of course, Columbia, they're thinking, we beat these guys once. Now, Ebonite only lost 1 match, and that was to this team they're bowling right now. During the match play, they tied their first game 190, and then Columbia shot 266 to Ebonite's 248 in the second game to win the second game and, of course, total pins.
Here is Steve Kloempken, member of Wichita State University's collegiate team champions the last 3 years.
promised you some talent, and you're going to see some great bowling out of this team. That's the way it looks right now.
And we have, of course, the $25,000 Bud Light Perfect Game Challenge.
That's why they started on the left lane. First team to bowl 300 gets the $25,000. The team bowling on the left lane bowls first.
There you go.
Very interesting. Now we know it was greed.
Chris Hayden has it on the way, and they're all down.
Here we go. A little luck there, but Columbia's lived on that through the first match. Maybe they can keep it going in the second one. Sometimes this can demoralize the other team. Here's another look at that, and he has yet to get it to the left side of the head pin. He's had 2 through the middle that I remember. This one crosses over and carries the 8-10. Last 2 down.
This is John Gaines. John's a pro shop owner from the Baltimore area.
Yeah, got away a little bit. John can really get a lot on the ball. He's a big, strong guy. Turns it up pretty good. He's got hands on him at, just big, long hands. And he can get a lot of revolutions, maybe just too many on the left lane that time. You see him switching balls here. He'll go hard and straight at it. All you got to do is hit it.
Here's Tim Mack.
If he strikes here, they're on 2 in a row. If Tim Mack gets a strike here, he might go 3 or 4 feet straight up in the air. You don't know what he's going to do. This kid's got a lot of emotion in his game, and that would really get his team going. This is the guy they need. A lot of ball speed, tremendous rotation. Got away with it.
Yes, he did.
He didn't expect that one to cross.
No, indeed. We'll return with more from Country Club Lanes in Baltimore right after this. Wichita, 25 years of age. Earl, you and I saw him when he was about 17, I think, the first time.
Yeah, he's been around a while, even though he's only 25 years old. He's been successful for a number of years.
How good is he? Very good. Now we are back to Patrick Allen. The lanky left-hander ready to go for Columbia. Perfect game, 25,000. Bud Light, people at Anheuser-Busch. Starting lineup brought to you by Contour Power Grips, pioneers in the finger grip industry. More pros choose Contour Power Grips, and you should too. Here's Bill Rowe. Ontario, computer student, member of Team Canada.
It's kind of interesting. Just before we went on the air, during their practice session, they switched their lineup. They had Chris Barnes bowling 5th and Bill Rowe bowling 4th, and they switched those 2 players. They must have felt Bill Rowe could bowl well at that anchor position. Maybe his shot was getting a better reaction on the lanes or something. And here we see him start with a washout. He's already on a team that's going to Reno, so he won with the Ace Paving team when he bowled at Dublin Bowl in Dublin, California, just a couple weeks ago.
Out of your house, huh?
What would happen if they were to win now is that Bill Rowe would bowl with the Ace Paving team in Reno, and this team, the Ebonite team here, would pick up another player.
If you qualify on 2 teams, you have to make that decision. You can only bowl on 1 in the Grand Championship. Chris Vial. 3-6-10.
Well, that's the end of our 300 game. We got a third of it anyway. The first 4. Maybe they can get 8,000. How many dollars is that, Jim? $8,333.33. How's that?
Well, I want to remind our viewers, of course, that at the Grand Championship in Reno, there will be $100,000. We have a perfect game.
Oh, boy, how'd you like to be the guy bowling 5th? 3 strikes. You got the first 9 of the team. Get those other 3 so we can get 20,000 apiece. If you don't get them, you walk home. Well, we know the lane condition is difficult. We've got 10 very talented players bowling here right now, and they're struggling. Even though Columbia has built up something in the neighborhood of an 18-pin lead, they've done it with some luck. A couple of crossovers, things of that nature. Bob Kloempken, first frame, threw a very good shot, got a strike. Here he leaves the 2-8. So the lane condition is probably going through some sort of a transition. By that I mean the oil's moving around a little bit. As it moves, the players have to make adjustments. You see Bob Kloempken stand there, kind of a little shake of his head. Thought he made a pretty good shot. Didn't quite get back to the pocket.
He was the '84 ABC Tournament All Events champion.
He's been a top player for a number of years in the Detroit area. This one got away from him. A lot of good bowlers out of the Detroit area. People like Bob Strampy, Billy Golombieski. You can go back over the years. Hall of Famers.
Here's Chris Soleil now.
Oh, my.
They were spinning all over the place, but he leaves the 3-9.
He really gave this one some room. Got it back almost. Here's another look. Look at the wrist rotation. The tremendous strength to rotate your wrist with that 16-pound ball and still get it to come back from about the second board out near the channel. If he'd got another 1/8 of an inch or something of that head pin, he'd got a strike, Jay. The 3-9 wants to get both pins with the ball. He'll hook this one cross lane into it.
Middle River area of Baltimore. We'll be right back. And Chris Hayden with a spare. Columbia leads by 28.
Come on now.
Boy.
That was one of the better shots we've seen this afternoon. That one was really rolled well. He gave it plenty of room, got it back in the last 8 or 10 feet with a lot of hit on it. A solid 10. And a lot of times the ball tends to run out when you're crossing this many boards or roll out. And if you see it kind of straightening out right there, it starts to hook and just kind of straightens out, that's a rollout shot. And sometimes you'll leave that ringing 10 like that, but you tend to carry very well. Ball rolls out.
John Gaines with the spare. There is the team captain for Ebonite. Tim Mack. And fire next for Columbia.
Tremendous rotation, middle of the head pin again. Really struggling. He crossed over last time in this lane, got the strike for him, but this time he leaves a 3-6. Here's another look at it. You see the ball. He really felt he rolled it well. Just way too much hook on the back end. The ball never really got far enough down the lane before it gripped. And once these resin reactive bowling balls grip the lane, they're gone. I mean, they just make turns without turning on the turn signal. Boy, let me tell you. 3-6. He'll try to throw this one pretty hard and straight. He's worked on a new spare shot. He feels that he's a lot more comfortable and more accurate with this end over end right. He still missed it.
That had to hurt. Shaking his head. Qualifying averages. Ebonite 213 in the qualifying and the Baker 207.1. Our match play records. Ebonite 8-1 and Columbia and Silver Dollar were 5-4. Ebonite leading all the way. Columbia made a big move. So did Silver Dollar. Here's Chris Barnes.
Columbia did the yo-yo thing. They went down, came back. They won their last 5 matches or something like that to make it into the telecast.
Mentioning you and I saw this fellow when he was still a teenager playing in the bowling shootout, Atlantic City.
Yeah, I'll never forget that.
The showroom there.
Some
big
really
crowd.
Talented people bowling too,
Yeah.
Jay. Mark Roth, Marshall Holman. So here's Chris's way of making his spares. He just takes all the hook out of it, takes the wrist out of it, throws it hard and straight, gets 4 or 5 revolutions when he normally gets 25. We're going to look at it again. See how he's holding his ball? This is really just to have nothing as far as rotation is concerned or lift. Just like a suitcase, just like he'd carry a bucket of water out from the well to the house. Let her go.
He's qualified for the Grand Championship with teams the past 2 years.
been the backbone of this team so far this afternoon. He's made good shots. In the first match, he did well. This match, he's got 2 strikes, both in the pocket area. Bill Rowe, washout last time up. See if he makes an adjustment here. They need him in the 10th frame to keep this match tight.
Got it.
Can't do better than that. We get bowlers from everywhere, Jay. This guy's the Canadian national champion.
Yeah.
Come down here all the way to Baltimore to bowl in our tournament.
He's from Hamilton. Right there along the Queen Elizabeth Highway, north of Buffalo. Earned a gold medal in the '95 Pan Am Games.
Well, what we have here is a situation where, in my opinion, the left-hand lane has been the more difficult of the two. 37 and 8 here at Country Club Lanes in Baltimore area. 37 has been the one that's been the toughest to score on. Ebonite had the decision to make. As they qualified as the leader, they could pick their starting lane. They decided to start on the tougher of the 2 lanes and try to hang on, evidently, as close as they could to Columbia, and felt they could beat in the second game on the right-hand lane. We'll see if that works. Columbia with a chance to shoot 221 yet and take something in the neighborhood of a 36-pin lead into the second game. That could be almost insurmountable if Columbia can maintain making their spares.
Chris Vial.
Big shots here.
Yeah, very important. His team right here.
Lots of room. No chance. Got a break. Got the 10-pin out. Leave only the 1, 2, and the 8.
That one was out there in no man's land a long time.
Sure was. He almost didn't get any. And here's another look at it as you see him go to the foul line. He just wanted to make sure he didn't hit the middle of the head pin. Gave it plenty of room and a lot of rotation, but it was just way down the lane. And the 10-pin the last to go. And this is not an easy spare. He wants to cross the head pin on the left side. Let the ball do hit all 3 pins. Got to hurry. Oh, my. Got a break there. This has been kind of Columbia's day up to this point. They've bowled 3 games here on our telecast, Jay, and they've gotten, in my estimation, 5 or 6 pretty good breaks. Crossover hits that have struck for them. They've made some spares in kind of peculiar ways, but they've got the job done. And now they have somewhere in the neighborhood of a 16-pin lead in our opening game of the championship match.
Well, it is going to be a lead of 15 after game 1 of the championship match. Back with more in a moment. Randolph here at the Country Club Lanes, Baltimore, Maryland. We go to the last game of this championship match. Chris Soule for Columbia. The winner goes to Reno. Columbia up by 15, and a problem right off the bat.
Well, there goes the lead in 1 shot, you might say, Jay. This is the 1-3-4-7, and this gives you an idea of how much these resin-reactive bowling balls will hook in the last 5 to 8 feet of the lane. The ball hooked so sharply from left to right that it took out the 2-pin and didn't touch the head pin or the 4-pin. That's amazing. He's switching balls. He's going to the rubber bowling ball. This didn't work for him last time. Another look at that last shot. Look at the hard, sharp break on the back end the ball makes right there. Just kind of ducks in there.
All over, Billy.
What a spare. Now that's got to pick his guys right back up.
Sure does. You heard him screaming. He jumped off the bench. There's another look at that shot. What a great cover. There's 2 ways to make this. You can shoot it like a washout and cross it, or you can fit it like the baby split. He fit it like the baby split, got the deflection into the 4-7. Great shot. That really pumps the team up. It's up to Bob Goyke to get his team going right here. They need to get some strikes.
A little high with that one. Bob was the ABC Tournament 10-year average leader. 1991, 1993.
Jay, that I have yet to see him get the ball to the left side of the head pin. Chris Hayden. He's been fortunate. He's had some easy spares, even got a strike or 2, but He's struggling getting the ball off his hand. It seems to come off very early, and when it comes off early, it wants to go left to right very quickly. Oops, something bothered him. Somebody had a little cough.
Somebody had a little cough, and he just backed off. That's wise if you're not ready, if you're distracted.
Well, it gets so quiet here. The bowlers feel like they're actually participating on a stage. You can hear your feet going to the foul line. You can hear a pin drop. You have all these people in this building, and they can be so quiet. And then erupt into this deafening noise as the favorite player hits his strike. Lots of room here. First time he's got the ball out over the foul line in the air, and that was the difference between getting the strike and getting it through the middle of the head pin.
Steve, a member of the 91 and 94 Team USA units.
I like this game. This is a good, solid game. He does everything right. All the fundamentals are there. Good free arm swing, great camera angle here, good balance in the foul line. You see the long follow through. And he did it Columbia. He crossed it and carried it. That must be the shot of the day. It seems to be working better than anything else. All right, mystery emotion here. You know, if he played football for Joe Paterno, he's going to have a lot of pride and a lot of emotion in him. That goes with playing there.
You betcha. Turned out some great teams up there in Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. Now, how can you go wrong living in Happy Valley? Well, that brand new Brunswick pin with the flat bottom is not going to fall down unless you hit it a little harder than that. He leaves the 4-10, and this really a bad break. The pin action kind of defeated its purpose there when he had something like a washout briefly, and then it got worse and worse, and that Brunswick machine puts that wiggle right back on the pin when it sets it down. Try to slide the 4 into 10. No chance. First really bad break the Columbia team has had. They've created some errors of their own where they've missed some fairly easy spares, but that's the first time that they've gotten a real bad break. And that makes this match a little exciting all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden Ebonite on a strike with a chance to increase that with a double here. And this is the guy you'd like to have in this position. Really rev it up. There again, the solid 10. The team was off the bench and they were ready to congratulate him, but it doesn't work that way.
Tom Gaines. Thought he had one.
Yes, he did. John, a big, strong guy. Again, he's switching bowling balls. He'll go cross lane, throw a lot of ball speed, hard and straight, pick up the 10 pin. Got a train going by outside, and that's what's making him wait a little bit. He says, I think he feels a vibration there. You see him standing there kind of shaking his head.
Yeah, you can hear those trains when they get right up here, and he's just going to wait a second, which is his prerogative at this point. Under the circumstances, we do have a time clock, but with this train, it's a little tough. He's going to go ahead.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We're going to take another look at that first strike ball of his, and John, watch his reaction after this ball hits the pocket. He thought he had 10. He leaves the 10. He thought he had a strike.
He's talking to our cameraman.
Yes, he is.
He said, take a look in there and see if I didn't get them all.
Yeah. Patrick Allen. Try to stop the bleeding for his team. That'll do it. He's been the guy that's got the job done for him. He's made the best shots. They need some help, though. Chris Barnes, the guy that can make some things happen good for Ebonite. We talked about his talent. He's been a great amateur player for a number of years.
93 Collegiate Bowler of the Year. 91 Association of College Unions International All Events Champion. Young man has a lot of experience.
Threw the ball the way he wanted wanted to and how and where he wanted to, Jay. It just didn't work for him. He wanted it off his hand early. He did that. The reason he wants the ball to get down the lane and then roll out a little bit. It rolled out, but it just a hair high on the head pin, leaving the 4 only. Get another look at Chris as he puts his hand on the ball, and watch how he breaks that wrist so he doesn't get any hook here. Holds it on the side. We talked about it like a bucket of water or a suitcase.
This championship match will continue. Columbia leading by 4. We'll be right back. Throw a spare, then a strike by Soul and a strike by Goiki. Excuse me, and it's +5. Columbia leading.
He just wants to get it off his hand, hurry. He got to the foul line a little quick that time, and that one had no chance at all. And this is not an easy spare.
A lot of pressure building here for these two teams as we're nearing the end of the Brunswick World Team Bowling Challenge for 94-95.
Look out. That'll make your heart pound a little faster.
Yes. He was very fortunate he knew it.
Well, Ebonite has an opportunity to really take charge here now. And this is a good guy to have in this position, Steve Kloempken. He's been here before. He knows how to perform under pressure. And he's a real good shot maker. Well, you saw two different reactions, very distinctly different. One was a relief, as you saw Chris Hayden with his hands over his eyes there. And then on the other side of the coin, you see the how can this stand up look from the Ebonite squad.
Steve came out of that very successful program at Wichita State. Gordon Vatican, the job he's done there.
Yes, he's outstanding. They may not be throwing a lot of strikes, ladies and gentlemen, but they're sure making a match out of it. This is about as close as you want it to be. Coming down to the last 3 players for each team.
A lot of 9s up there for Ebonite.
Come on, Mack.
Oh, boy.
Now, Mack has another problem.
You know, the 2-4-8-10 here, this is makeable. Especially for guys that like to hook the ball. And that, to me, is the easiest way to make this. There's no easy way, but if you're going to make it, you want to hook it and just get enough of the 2-pin to send it into the 10. The ball will continue to hook, hit the 4-pin, drive it into the 8. He might throw this hard and straight. I don't know what his plans are here, but that's the way, if you're going to make it, that's the most successful way to do it. He's going to hook it. Let's see what happens. Quite get it over there. This hasn't been Mr. Mack's day. He's had a lot of problems, and not all of them really his making. That was kind of a bad break. He's had a couple other bad breaks today. But overall, Columbia has done quite well. And this is coming down to the last few frames, Jay, and who knows?
Ebonite is up by 10. Here's John Gaines.
Said to the camera over there last time didn't seem to help any, Jay. He's still left for 3-6.
They're battling these lane conditions right now. It's been tough to just get on target and stay there.
Every shot so important now. Can't afford any more mistakes.
Patrick Allen, he's been tough. He has 3 strikes in a row.
Again, this is where you want a guy like this. You want him bowling 4 so he can load it up for the anchor man. If he can get a strike here, that means you have possibility of going out for a 193 game. he doesn't strike, it could be anywhere from 150, 160, 170. Who knows?
Carries a 235 league average. That 7-pin won't go for him.
Well, that was good and bad. He had some good luck and some bad luck. He almost carried the strike when that pin fell toward the 7, but he also had the 10-pin standing briefly, which would have been a pocket 7-10, and that would have been disaster for Columbia. Needs the spare. Fill the frame. Hope your anchor man can pull it out for you in the 10th. See a lot of tension on the people in the crowd back there, so they're really into this match.
And he picks up the spare. Chris Barnes will go back to the line.
Chris likes this kind of a situation. He lives for this. This is what makes bowling fun for a guy like this, and what he likes to be in this position where he can perform under pressure, do something good for his team. Chris is going to give this everything he's got.
That's a big one right there.
We're going to see if we can take another look at that shot, folks. Remember how I told you Chris wants to get the ball off his hand early? By that I mean it comes off right by the foul line. Here's another look at that shot. You see the ball's gone already? The reason he wants to do that is says it gets a lot of forward roll on it and it will set up in the pocket area. And you look at the look on his face. Yeah. They know what the score is. You can count on that. They're looking up at the scoreboard. That's exactly what everybody needs. Exciting. Coming down to the wire here. This is has to fill this frame, get the spare, the 3-6, and then it's all going to be up to Ebonite and their anchor man.
Oh, that's over.
That does it.
That will do it.
My.
Right to the wire, but that mistake there gives Ebonite this championship. They will have, of course, all of the goodies coming here and the trip to the Grand Championship July 16th through the 19th.
Just keep it on the lane and don't foul, and this match is over.
All it needs is 5.
I got 7.
Yeah.
Little bonus. We didn't see the scores that I expected, Jay. I expected to see some higher scores. You see the disappointment that comes along with the opportunity to go to Reno.
They finished second again.
They finished second
in Buffalo in March. Come up just a little shy here.
One of their teammates, who normally would be here, Lickstein, one of their finer left-handed players, can't be here because his wife's having a baby.
Ebonite 369. Columbia Kudu Seas 360. We'll be back.